Hey, Leo, I need to ask you something.
Sure. Maya, what's up?
So, you're scrolling through Instagram, you see a post from your friend, they just went through a breakup, and they're sharing every single detail, the text messages, the crying emojis, even what they ate for dinner alone.
Oh no, that's a lot.
Ha ha ha, that is exactly the phrase. That's a lot. And that's what we're talking about today. Because in American social media culture, there's this unspoken line. On one side, we love connection, we share our lives, we post photos, we tell stories. But on the other side, there's a point where it becomes too much. And there's actually a word for that moment.
I think I know this one. Is it TMI?
Yes, TMI. And most learners know that TMI stands for too much information. But here's the thing, knowing the meaning and knowing how to use it naturally are two completely different things.
Wait, really? I thought if I know the letters, I'm good.
That's what most people think. But let me ask you something. Have you ever used TMI in a conversation?
I have, actually. A few months ago, my friend told me about her medical appointment, and I said, "Whoa, TMI. I thought I sounded cool."
Huh. Okay, I need to hear this. What happened next?
She got quiet. I thought maybe she was offended, and then she changed the subject really fast.
Okay, so here's what happened. You used the phrase correctly in terms of the letters, too much information, but you used it at the wrong moment. Let's get into the culture behind this. Because TMI is not just a phrase we use anytime someone shares a detail, it has a very specific social function.
Okay, I'm ready. Teach me.
All right, picture this. You're at a party. You're talking to someone you just met, and out of nowhere, they start telling you about their recent divorce, their dog surgery, and their mother-in-law's opinion on their haircut. You didn't ask for any of this. You barely know their name. In that moment, what do you feel?
Uncomfortable. Like, why are you telling me this?
Exactly. That feeling of discomfort, that's the exact context where TMI is born. It's not just a lot of information, it's information that breaks the social contract. It's something that makes the listener go, I did not need to know that, and now I can't unknow it.
So it's more about the relationship between the people, not just the amount of information.
Bingo. And this is where most learners make their first mistake. They use TMI to mean a lot of information in a neutral way, like, wow, this textbook has TMI. That doesn't work because you don't feel personally uncomfortable from a textbook. TMI is a personal reaction.
So it's almost like a social boundary tool.
That's a great way to put it. It's a light, often playful way to say, hey, you're crossing a line here, and we need to pull back. It signals discomfort, but without being aggressive. It's like a warning sign with a smile.
Okay, so when I said TMI to my friend about her medical appointment, was that wrong?
Let me ask you this. Was she a close friend?
Yeah, pretty close.
And were you in a private conversation?
Yes, we were just chatting one-on-one.
Okay, so here's the issue. Medical information from a close friend in a private conversation, that's usually acceptable territory. That's the kind of thing close friends talk about. So when you said TMI, she probably felt like you were rejecting her, like her personal story was too much for you.
Oh no, that's exactly what happened. She got quiet because I made her feel bad.
That's the learner's trap right there. You knew the phrase, but you didn't know the invisible rules. So let's fix this. When is it appropriate to use TMI?
I'm guessing when it's a stranger or an acquaintance.
Exactly. Or when someone is sharing something that's clearly inappropriate for the setting. Like if you're at work and a coworker starts talking about their dating life in graphic detail, that's a perfect TMI moment.
So context is everything.
Context is everything. And here's another layer, tone. How you say TMI changes the meaning completely. If you say it with a laugh and a smile, it's playful. Like, okay, TMI, but I'm glad you trust me. If you say it flat or with a serious face, it sounds like you're shutting them down.
Wait, so you can use TMI in a warm way?
Absolutely. Between close friends, you can say, okay, that's TMI, but I love you anyway, and it's affectionate. It says you're being a little weird, but we're still good.
That's so nuanced. I never would have picked that up from a textbook.
And that's exactly why we're doing this episode. Because social media culture and the way we talk about sharing and oversharing, it's one of the biggest sources of awkward moments for English learners.
So let me ask you about something else I've seen online. This word cancel culture. I hear it everywhere, but I'm not sure I understand it.
Cancel culture, that's a big one. And it's closely related to what we're talking about because it's about social boundaries, but at a much bigger scale.
How so?
Cancel culture is when a public figure, a celebrity, an influencer, sometimes even a regular person, says or does something that the online community finds unacceptable, and then that community collectively decides to cancel them, which means they stop supporting them, they boycott their work, they call for consequences.
That sounds intense. Is it always about something serious?
Not always, and that's part of the controversy. Sometimes it's used for genuinely harmful behavior, but other times it's used for a single mistake, like an old tweet from 10 years ago, and that's where people disagree.
So it's like the internet version of public shaming?
That's one way to look at it. But let's think about this from a language perspective, because cancel culture is a phrase you'll hear a lot in American conversations, especially among younger people.
How would I use it naturally?
Here's a real example. Your friend says, I can't believe people are trying to cancel that singer just because of one old interview. You can respond, yeah, cancel culture is getting out of control. Or you can say, I actually think cancel culture holds people accountable. It depends on the situation.
So it's a phrase that people have strong opinions about.
Exactly. And that's why it's important to know it. Because if someone brings up cancel culture in a conversation and you don't know what it means, you're lost.
I can see that, but I also feel like as a non-native speaker, I'm scared to use phrases like this. What if I get it wrong?
That's a valid fear, and it's why we're here. The key is to start in low-stakes situations. Listen first. When you hear someone use it, pay attention to their tone. Are they angry? Are they joking? Are they explaining something?
So I should be a social spy first.
Social spy, I love that. Yes, listen and observe before you jump in, and then when you're ready, you can test it out with a simple question. Like, I hear about cancel culture a lot. What do you think about it?
That's a great way to enter the conversation without committing to a position.
Exactly. You're inviting the other person to share their perspective, and that's always a safe move. Now, I want to bring up another common mistake I hear from learners. This one is specifically for our Spanish-speaking listeners, but others, pay attention to, it might apply to you.
I'm ready. What is it?
In Spanish, the word haster is used very broadly. You can taster a thought, taster a feeling, taster a meal, but in English, share has different levels. For example, Spanish speakers often say, I want to share my opinion in a formal meeting. And it sounds a little heavy.
What should they say instead?
In a meeting, Americans usually say, I'd like to add something, or can I jump in here? Share sounds very personal, like you're giving a gift. So save share for personal stories, not professional input.
That's helpful. What about for Chinese speakers?
Great question. Chinese speakers often translate the concept of sharing directly, like, I want to share my life. And in Chinese, that's normal. But in English, sharing your life can sound very deep, almost like you're revealing your secrets. A more natural phrase is keep people updated or post about my day.
So share is a strong word in English.
It is. And that's the beauty of this episode. We're not just learning vocabulary, we're learning the invisible culture behind the words.
Okay, Maya, I'm ready for the practice round. Give me a scenario.
Haha. All right. Scenario 1. You're at a family dinner. Your aunt starts talking about her recent surgery in very specific detail. Blood, stitches, hospital food. You're eating pasta. What do you say?
Can I say auntie? That's TMI? With a smile?
With a smile. Yes. And add, let's talk about something lighter. If you want to be really smooth.
Okay, scenario 2.
Scenario 2. You're on a first date. The person is lovely, but they start telling you about their ex. In detail. Bad breakup. Emotional. What do you do?
I think I would say, hey, I'm sorry that happened, but maybe we can save that for another time.
That's perfect. You didn't say TMI because it's too early in the relationship. You set a gentle boundary. Very natural.
So sometimes the best response is not a phrase at all, but a gentle redirect.
That's a great takeaway. And that brings us to the core of today's lesson. Social media culture and social culture in general is about reading the room, knowing when to share, when to hold back, and how to signal that boundary gracefully.
I think the biggest thing I learned today is that TMI is not just a phrase, it's a social signal.
Exactly. And if you're going to use it, make sure you're in the right context, with the right person, with the right tone. Otherwise, you might accidentally hurt someone's feelings.
Like I did with my friend. That's a good idea, and I bet she'd appreciate it.
She would, because the goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to communicate with awareness and kindness, and that's what Speak Like a Native is really about.
I love that. So, Maya, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this episode?
3 things. 1. TMI is for moments when someone overshares in a way that makes you uncomfortable, not for any large amount of information. 2. Cancel culture is a hot topic. Know what it means so you can follow the conversation. 3. Always read the room. Your social instincts are good. Trust them.
And if you want more episodes like this, hit that subscribe button right now. Maya and I have a new Culture Decoded episode dropping every week.
We'll see you next time. Keep listening, keep practicing, and keep speaking like a native.
Bye, everyone.